Hi, South Florida baseball fans. We're here with a very special guest today, Belen Manager Jesse Fernandez, as we get set to preview their upcoming regional final matchup with American Heritage out of Plantation. Coach, welcome in.
Hey, what's up, guys? Always a pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's start with last week's matchup. You're one of the few teams now through these first 2 weeks. You went 3 games, both series, and it was a very similar blueprint in Game 3. 1-0 2 weeks ago, and then 2-0. You took out the whole Treasure Coast by yourself. So talk a little bit about it.
Oh, I mean, it's been pretty crazy. It's been a long 2 weeks, a fun 2 weeks. The experience of this. I mean, honestly, I think I was talking about it with one of my coaches yesterday. I think at this point last season, obviously, we were done by then. I think we had played maybe a total of 27 games, 28 games. This Monday will be our 33rd game of the season, and it's the start of a regional final. So I mean, honestly, I know there's might be a lot of people out there that don't like this 2 out of 3 series, but for us right now, it's honestly it's awesome. We're loving every minute of it. We're riding with all the highs and honestly just excited to get this next series going.
Sure. And I was talking to a couple coaches today about that, where it's so much different from previous years because you know you guys and both teams you've played were very evenly matched. So what you're getting, you might not be getting the exact best team advancing. It could be, but the teams are comparable at this point, and you're seeing that. And what you're getting is great baseball in all these series.
Yeah, I think that's been the coolest thing. I mean, for us, I know we've had a lot of tight games throughout the year, but when you talk about, the fact that you can walk into a Monday night game like we did when we were at Ugali, um, and we lost a year ago, our season would have been over. And the fact that you can have a situation like that happen, then turn around, talk to your team at night, wake up the next morning, play a game, and then have that opportunity to bring it back home, especially us that we've been the lower seed both times. It's awesome. We got to we played at Ugali, we lose, turns around, and then it's like, hey, let's try to win today and get it back home. It's exactly what we did. We came back home, like you said, won a 1-0 game in 10 innings. Then we go to Merritt Island with all that momentum and we win game one, and then they kind of turn into us, and it's like they take game two now. But again, the positive is by game three, it's time to come back home. And we've been playing great at home. Same thing, like you said, we played another 7 inning game, 2-0. Vic Escobar has been incredible for us. A guy that he's gotten his starts here and there. He's had his great moments with us throughout his 3 years with us. But what he's been able to do the past 2 weeks, 13 scoreless innings, and those two starts has been like our little mini superhero in games that we didn't think we'd be in. Because not only are you going against teams that have a way better record than you, are playing better baseball than you. Some guys in their lineups are just having the best seasons of their lives. And then you have our guy who's coming in, and it's just like no expectations, just do your job, do what you can to get us to the next step, and he's done that, and it's been an incredible two game run for him.
Sure. And you brought up a great point because, in past years with the playoffs, they're so spread out that you're getting the number one and the number two and the number one and the number two, and that's all you're seeing. And it's really nice this year to be seeing all these teams, and you're developing some heroes, and some kids are getting confidence, and some kids that might not have even played in a regular playoff game in past
Yep.
years are now becoming heroes within their programs, within their schools. They're starting to get noticed a little bit by people that weren't noticing them. So how nice is that for the kids that we get to see some of the depth of how good it is baseball down here in South Florida?
It's been incredible. I mean, I won't go by name, but just right now in the situation we're in, I can tell you, you're correct. We would have played game one. We probably would have had Frankie Alemán, our number one. We would have played game two. We would have had Marcelo Llorente, our number two. And if we find a good point for the bullpen to come in, yeah, some guys would have thrown their innings, but a kid like Vic Escobar, yeah, he could have been a hero coming out of the pen, maybe getting an inning or two. Because at this point, we all know it. You ride with your 1 and 2, you take them as long as you can, and then you just hope whoever comes in relief can get the job done. But in reality, this 3 game series and the fact that we've played 3 games both times has kind of opened up that door for some unsung heroes, I guess you could say. And it's been awesome to watch because at least for my case, this is a kid that's a junior. My other two starters are seniors. Now I know next year I have a guy that can pitch in the big moment, this man that may not have been the case if I would have seen him in another fashion. He could have been in relief, and I would have, man, we have a great closer next year. Now I'm looking at a guy that can give me 6 innings against anybody, and it's like, wow, that's awesome to see. And on the offensive side, you have guys that we didn't have the greatest season statistically. I mean, everybody knows that it's not a secret. Stats are everywhere. But you have guys that have come in crazy situations. David Del Pino hit his first home run to tie the game in New Galley in the 7th. In that same game, Amaury Gonzalez hit his first career high school home run. That was a grand slam to take a 7-3 lead in the top of the 8th inning. And then you have Peter Lopez, who's had his struggles throughout the year, but everybody knows the kid's got big time pop. Hits a 3-run bomb in I think it was the top of the 8th inning against Merritt Island. And it's like, these are guys that, who knows? None of this would have happened if it wasn't for this series. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for the way these games have lined up. So it's been pretty special to see.
And talk about, and this is something topic that'll come up in the offseason, I'm sure, but you guys as the lower seed have had game 3 at home both times. That's something the state might want to play with down the road, but how nice has it been? Because you guys have a great home field advantage over there at Belen. So talk about how great it's been, at least for this year, that you've been in the position to have the deciding game at home, both series so far.
Yeah, I guess that one, they're gonna have their hands full with that type of decision, because it's funny because right now you're right. You sit back and that thought that you get to come back home for the game 3, it almost feels like if you can just steal one away game, you almost have the home field advantage in the series. And in a way, I guess if I was the higher seed, I would say it sucks. But being the lower seed, it's great. The problem is, and this is where I think they will have the issue is, in our case, I'll use one series for an example right now, Braddock Doral. A series like that, you should do and can do. All right, game 1 will be at Doral, game 2 will be at Braddock, then game 3 at Doral. And that favors the higher seed, and it's fair to the higher seed, But in our case, our first 2 series were 3 hours away. Sure. And that would have been the case completely across the board, unless, like what's happening this Monday, that we're playing Heritage, which it's still a 45, 50-minute drive for us. So it's, we can play around with that one, I guess you could say. But those other series, there's no way we're going up 3 hours on a Monday, driving back in the middle of the night to then play another night game back home. So it's kind of like a difficult, it just depends the region you're in, the teams you have, which I'm sure is the case in multiple regions. But there are some regions, I know St. Brendan is one that's had a couple close series here, that they would have been able to go 1-1-1, But in our case, and I'm sure in 1A, 2A, there's a lot of teams that you can't just, for example, Satellite and Key West in our region, that's a 7-hour drive. Like there's no way you're doing 1-1-1 unless the series is going to be every two days there's a game. It's not back to back and then skip a day. That's really the only thing.
So you talked a little bit about Heritage. Let's get into that because you guys had them at home earlier in the year, and they took care of business down there against you guys. I would imagine there's a little bit of a revenge factor that you guys maybe didn't play your best game that day. But certainly your team is a much different team now than it was when you played back then. So give me some of the things that you see there's different now that can make a difference and make that kind of score difference from what happened down there, how you guys can turn the tables on that.
Yeah. I mean, there was no secret to it. I mean, they came down here, they played an incredible game. They hit the ball around the yard. Honestly, it was just one of those games that you just sit back and you're like, damn, they're really good. That's a really good ball club. That's a really well-coached team. There's a lot of talent there. It's a veteran group. I think there's like 6 or 7 seniors in the starting lineup. They're 1, 2, and 3 are all seniors. I actually think they're 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all seniors. So you knew that when we played them, I kind of knew what we were walking into. Was it the outcome we wanted or expected? Of course not. But you can't take anything away from them. It's a heck of a team. It's a very talented group. But you are right. We are a different team right now. Have we done anything out of this world that I feel like now we're the better team? No, of course not. But it is one of those things where, like I told you last time, we're just kind of riding this little bit of magic. And really, I think everybody's learned their lesson in high school baseball. It's about getting hot at the right time. It's about finding that magic, that click at the right time of the season. And sometimes that's better than talent, But I can tell you this is going to be a heck of a series. And we're just excited for it and we're ready for the task.
Sure. And point to something specific that you think you guys are doing differently now than you were doing back then that will help you guys out in this upcoming series.
I obviously I think everybody knows I have Ernie Padron coaching with me at Belen. So there's little things you pick up from him. And obviously he's a great guy to have around this time of the year because he's done this so much. And I can't necessarily pick out something specific that we're doing better besides stating the obvious. You know, our pitching has been incredible. Our hitting, while it's still, we're not a 400 average team, but now we're getting the timely hits, the right bounce, the mistake that the other team makes and capitalizing on it. But there's something very specific that he says, and at this time of the year, it's will over skill. And that's something that I think every team, you know, there's always the David versus the Goliath, and this time of the year, it's time to start thinking, hey, it's will over skill. You know, everybody's here for a reason. Everybody has talent in their own way, and everybody's earned the shot to get here. This isn't the 8 seed playing the 1 seed in the first round that they just get a good bounce, a lucky crack, and then it's a 1-game series, just 1 game, and they just topple the 1 seed. You know, this is a series. This is a team that you're gonna have to find the team that's willing to die for the guy next to them that's gonna win the ball game. And Ernie's kind of been throwing that in at the guys, and they've kind of bought into it. It's that will over skill mentality, and that's where we're at because we know who we are. I don't know if this stat is correct because I haven't looked into it, but we might lead the entire country in sack bunts. And I want to actually do some research on that because someone mentioned it the other day, and it's not too far fetched because I think we're bunting 4 or 5 times a game, and it's not a secret at this point of the year. Everybody knows it. That's why I'm saying it, but it's just a matter of, like I say, that I tell the kids, it's a sacrifice bunt. Keyword being sacrifice. And between what I tell them, between the stuff that Ernie has thrown out, I think right now it's just will over skill, and it's the thing that we're pushing over.
Well, it's certainly going to be a fun one again starting this week. So I wish you luck. And one more of these, maybe we got one more of in us at the end of the week.
I've never been more excited to hopefully see you again, Ant. That's for sure. I hope you're texting me again, telling me, "Hey, Sunday, let's have another interview." So that would be great. I'm something I'm hopefully looking forward to, and I am excited to get this series going. I know the kids are excited. I told the kids, I go, this is the first time in my 12 years of coaching that the senior class was able to end class because they haven't graduated yet, but they are done with their classes, and it's the first time that I've had a group of seniors finish their classes and still be playing baseball. So the kids are excited. I know I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun couple of days.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck.
Thank you, Ant. Thank you, guys. Have a
Have
good
a
night.
good one. All right.